Hi, mommies.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us. We're very excited. So in the world of animation, creators wear many different hats, including writer, researcher, and animator. So what are some tips that you have for people that it's their dream to kind of break into the children's writing space and also the animation world?
Well, I would say we are always on the hunt for great writers. And Traci and I, her area of expertise is more the animation and visual, whereas I'm more focused on the writing. We really collaborate on everything. She's my favorite writing partner, and I weigh in on all the designs. But I think for me, speaking of writers, we are always looking for writers. I know that one of the ways of breaking in is, if there's a show that you love, writing a spec script and coming up with ideas is one way to start practicing and really finding your voice as a writer.
Yeah, and then on the animation design side, there's so many, what's so wonderful about this digital age is all the programming that you can do on your own of stop motion animation or storyboarding, and just kind of learning those tools and the practices of telling stories, or taking your favorite animated shows and breaking them down visually and storytelling and the arc and what happens in each scene. But internships are always great. And, DreamWorks, I know, is always looking for internships, and Nickelodeon. And, it's just kind of getting in there and just start doing it yourself, not being afraid of making mistakes, have that growth mindset of just jumping in and learning from whatever you're doing.
And one of the things that we're so excited about is the digital aspect. The idea of with Gabby's Dollhouse is that this is a show she has created. So we start live action in her bedroom, and the conceit is that she films each of these episodes on her phone. And I feel like, in this day and age, kids, there's so much freedom for kids to create their own stories
and express themselves.
And I think, keeping a journal, it just feels like it's such a great time for kids. And that's why we were focused on growth mindset is don't wait for something to be perfect to put it out there. And don't be afraid of putting something out there and making a mistake, because that's how you learn. And that's one of the big messages that we hope we're modeling for kids, future writers and animators.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right.
My son and I watched Gabby's Dollhouse, and we absolutely loved it. So if there was a mission statement for Gabby's Dollhouse, what would it be?
I would definitely say about
failing fantastically, the growth mindset, not being afraid to make mistakes, that mistakes are part of the learning process.
Celebrate mistakes and have fun doing it.
Yep.
Being creative and, turning lemons into lemonade, and with your creativity and humor, and certainly fun with your friends. Hey, Tati, what a cool name for a cool mom.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the show with the kids. It's beautifully done, and it's so rich with different things. And what caught my attention was the different DIYs and the crafts. It seems that the kids don't need me. As long as I give them a box of whatever they're going to do in the show, they can do it on their own. And they were very creative. So my question to you is, do you write the ideas and get somebody to help you with the creation of these projects, or it's the other way around? Is it a combination of both? How do you come up with the DIYs?
We harness the kids' love of YouTube and the unboxing and the craft DIYs and the cooking DIYs. We organically write into the story, and then as moms ourselves, we have so much experience of kind of doing crafts and cooking. We kind of come up with it ourselves and experiment and play it out in our own home with our research of kids. And so it's actually all us, baby.
Hello.
I
know, I love
2 kids and a coupon. I love it.
Thank you. With social distancing, children's educational programming is more important than ever. Could you share a little bit about the inspiration for the show and some of the lessons that are included?
Well, I think that, the growth mindset is the overarching curriculum of the show. And I think modeling resilience and not being afraid to make a mistake really could not be more important in these times where, kids are facing a lot of challenges and schooling remotely. So we feel like the message of Gabby, the resilience, the grit, the determination to keep going, keep trying, is more important now than ever.
We also have couched in, the kindergarten readiness, of course, with the color shapes, but also the socio-emotional of flexible thinking and empathy and just having a sense of humor in it. Because honestly, I feel like the thing as a mom through this, Jen and I are always laughing and joking. It's like, that's the main thing that gets us through, is just finding the humor and everything. And, being able to laugh at yourself and laugh at the situation and just play with it and have the, making the best of it. Lemons out of lemonade.
One thing we're very conscious that Gabby never says is the word perfect, because nothing is ever perfect. And it's really about taking what you have and making the best of it and finding the humor in it. So we definitely try to model that in every single episode.
Do you have a favorite episode that you've done so far, or a favorite DIY or craft or recipe or anything?
You go first on this one.
Well, one of my favorite episodes is the hiccup episode, where Gabby has the hiccups, because I feel like we've all had the hiccups. And we really pushed ourselves with this episode to come up with things that felt really quirky and unique. We're always trying to say, there's so many preschool shows out there and everybody's done the birthday show or the pirate show. Like, how does Gabby do it differently? And I feel like hiccups really epitomizes that, with all the different things she tries to get rid of her hiccups. They all just feel sort of a little bit wacky and crazy and unique. And also with the growth mindset, she doesn't give up. So even though something didn't work, she still appreciates how much fun it was, and she tried, and she doesn't give up. So that's one of my favorite episodes, and I feel like it really epitomizes the show.
Yeah, for sure. I love, one of my favorites is upcoming. It hasn't dropped yet, but it's called Keki's Cousins, and it's all about that enjoyment. I think everybody loves hanging out with your cousins, where at the beginning of the live action, Floyd's cousins, we have live kittens on set. We just shot, which was so fun.
6 kittens.
Little kittens. And then Gabby unboxes little cupcake cousins, Keki's cousins, who come into the dollhouse for a play date. And much to, Keki has everything all planned out, the way it's going to go. And of course, it doesn't go as planned. And as a producer, as a mom, I, have my producer hat on again, where I always think I'm going to make these memories where we're going to, do this a certain way and make cookies and blah, blah, blah. And just how havoc ensues with the cousins, and they don't do what Keki's planned, but they still have fun and they're still making wonderful memories. And I just love that arc of Keki realizing that, just roll with it. It's okay. We're making great memories. Everyone's having fun. And as a mom, it's a good reminder to me just to relax. It's all right. It didn't go as planned, but the kids are smiling and laughing and bonding and connection is happening. So that's good. So that's one of my favorites, but we love them all. I mean, they're all so special in their own way, just like kids.
Yep, I completely agree. I like the hiccups one too. I haven't seen the one that you're speaking of yet, but the hiccups one was kind of cute. I was wondering, are there any unique ways to get rid of hiccups?
Well, we came up with 3 right there in the show.
Yeah, we love the idea of kids making their own hiccup machine. Sometimes one of the best ways to get rid of the hiccups is focus on something else. So
it just might work.
It might. You never know. Awesome. Well, thank you guys.
Oh, guys. Well, I watched the hiccups episode as well, and it reminded me about my abuela, my grandma. She had all kind of remedies for all type of illness, or whatever you don't feel good. So my question is, do you come up with more ideas like this, like home remedies that probably people believe in other cultures that gonna cook know, whatever you have, because in Mexico we have all type of remedies for all type of things. I mean, illness or whatever you feel bad about. Is there something else that you came up with, like this idea?
I think all of those things just come from our kids' imagination or our imaginations. We weren't going on any cultural per se, but loving to tap into that idea that, you know, we kind of create our own remedies, or we have choices to create our own ways of solving problems, and there's no right or wrong way, whatever works for you, right? So just figuring out, you know, through creativity and celebrating mistakes and making mistakes, you kind of learn along the way what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, that's very popular in Mexico. I mean, to someone to scare you to.
Right.
I guess that's what finally worked, right?
That was the one that
Cat
worked.
Rat was right.
Hey, so Blue's Clues was originally going to be a cat. So are you excited to explore so many fun?
Wow, you are a super fan. Not many people know that.
Yeah. So you're excited to explore so many cats in Gabby's Dollhouse?
We are. Cats was the kind of the go-to, and then we ended up steering with the dog because another show that we were up against had a cat, so we wanted to be different from that. So the cats finally get their day.
Yes. We're excited to celebrate all things cat.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been amazing. We you know, when we first came up with the idea, we originally had different animals, and then we just loved cats so much, and everybody loves cats, and we were seeing all these crazy YouTube videos with the cats, and we decided we're going all cat, and we're so glad we did, because it's not only do kids love cats, and everybody loves cats, but it also created such a unique design element for the show and a real overarching look for the show.
Yeah, and theming everything from the unboxing to having little cat ears to her magic ears shrinking her down. It just kind of was this complete umbrella that just felt so right.
And we call it catifying. So we're always catifying things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we have the toaster, it's got cat ears, and
even the toast, the bread has little cat ears, and
even the toilet in the bathroom has
cat
ears to flush. So it's so much fun, and we just have such a great time with it.
Yeah, I think kids, the more they look, the more they'll see that there's like little Easter egg hidden of cats everywhere in making it Gabby's and the Gabby cats, and that they're a Gabby cat too.
Happy about it. She is a huge cat fan, and she was like, "Oh my God, this show was made for me."
That's great.
Thank you.
Hi, sorry, let me unmute myself. So as I said, we love the show. We're actually watching it right now. And my kiddo, we see it's on right now. It's on right now. So my son loved
I love this show.
See? I told you he loved it. And he loved
what? Yeah, no, go ahead.
They want to ask you a question.
Who's one of your favorite cats characters?
Oh, Cat Rat.
Cat Rat's one of my favorites too. He's funny, right? What do you like?
Let them know what you liked most about the show.
I liked it most about the show that about the hug attacks.
The hug attack. Love it.
Attack. He's been jumping out, hugging me. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, it's a hug attack. I'm like,
what my son, when he was little, when I came home from work, he would always give me a hug attack, a running hug attack.
So is that, we're going to ask you the inspiration behind the hug attack and everything else. So tell us what inspired you to write Hug Attack.
When my son Matthias was probably 4, 5, 6, when I would come home at night, he would hide somewhere in the house and then come running out, hug attack. So that was definitely something we wanted to work in. And it was in one episode. And then we were thinking, like, should we do a hug attack in every episode? I'm like, why not?
Yeah, we
like,
should.
Matthias did one every night when I came home. Let's do it.
Let's start every show when you get into the dollhouse. Where's Pandy? Hug attack.
Oh, good. I'm glad that your son likes the hug attack.
Loves it. Thank you so much.
Ladies, so the message of it's okay to fail it's really fantastic. But I feel that it encompasses a lot of things, self-love being one of them. And in the episode, oh, I forget the one where they try to get the spaceship back. I forget the name of it. In that episode, Gabby's changing her hair color. And she says, my favorite is her very own.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that we address self-assurance and self-love. Can you talk a little bit more about that and how you come to bring that into the whole, it's okay to make mistakes?
Yeah, that was so wonderful that you tuned
up on
into
that,
that,
yeah.
picked up on that, because that was a big thing that we wanted to, we grew up, I think TV is much more aware of that now, of stereotypes and seeing yourself on TV and representation. But when we were growing up, that wasn't as prevalent. So, in modern, when everything we create, we want to include every kid, and just having that self-love and that self-esteem and making you feel self-confident and in whoever you are, you be you. And that's fantastic because no one else is you.
And I think that's one of the things about Gabby is, trying to take that fear out of mistakes. I think kids can get self-conscious or feel like if they made a mistake, someone's going to laugh at them, or just taking the sting out of making mistakes and realizing that mistakes are something to be celebrated. And without making mistakes, you don't learn anything. Like, that's how you learn, and you have to make a mistake, and it's part of the process, and it's a great thing. And that's why, Gabby has her big book of cat-tastic mistakes where she keeps track of every single one, because every time she made a mistake, she learned something new. And so she wants to keep track of that. So that's definitely something, everyone's on their own path and makes different mistakes, but there's something to be celebrated, and your mistakes are uniquely yours, and they help you learn and become who you are.
I really love how this show allows the kids to step into the dollhouse and have imaginative adventures. Can you talk a little bit about creating the show from the kids' perspective?
Sure. Having created kids TV for over 20 years, we kind of are really tuned into what sparks kids and the literalness and what excites them. And having 6 kids between us, we know a lot, and being kids ourselves once, of just kind of pulling from what we loved as kids to what modern day kids love with the unboxing, and then our love of dollhouses and miniatures, and kind of rolling it into all a story and narrative with characters that kids can connect to.
And we love the idea of the live action because, Gabby, and having her start as a real kid, it sort of represents that fantasy play. And when I was little, I loved my dollhouse, and I spent umpteen hours creating these imaginary worlds. And the idea that you can create this world and then be able to jump into it, and the characters that you created in your mind are really alive. And that was one of the things that was really important to us, was to keep that live action piece. And this is DreamWorks' first live action hybrid animation show. And, I think at the beginning, Traci and I, that was something we felt really strongly we wanted to hang on to, was that live action piece, because it really represented that
real kid
jumping into the fantasy of a world of their own creation.
Yeah, it's the ultimate in wish fulfillment.
Layla is amazing as Gabby, by the way. She does such a good job of transitioning from live action and keeping you engaged the entire time. And so as far as casting for the show, how did you find Layla? Was she just a random kid that was like, hey, I want to do this? Or
that was
I want to be her.
When we were casting for Gabby, DreamWorks casting department really put out a wide net all over the country. We saw over 1,000 girls for Gabby. And when we saw Layla, she had this connection, and there was something just so natural about her that we felt like she could really connect with kids. She wasn't it didn't feel like she was acting, even though she's an amazing actress. She just felt really natural and that she was playing. And we just actually wrapped 27 episodes shooting here in New York with Layla. And she's amazing. She's such a great kid. And
she embodies the real growth mindset and humor, and talk about self-confidence in herself, but that, laughing at herself too when she makes mistakes. And animation wise, just she translated so well to animation. She has these amazing eyebrows, Jen, and I love that, they kind of can go one up, one down. They're just so expressive, and that translated so well when she became an animator. And she had never done voiceover before, and she just knocked it out of the park.
Yep.
Yeah, she's definitely talented. Like I said, I want to be her. Like I want to get those, those presents coming down the slide. And
I
know. We laugh about her.
She's just so beautiful to look at too. Just
her hair is amazing.
I know, we love her hair.
Yeah, my hair's never been like that.
She just has this way of connecting that, immediately when we saw her, we were like, oh, it's Gabby.
Yep. So thank you, DreamWorks made that happen.
Yep.
They worked really hard in finding the
We went through so
Gabby.
many rounds, and we'd be like, we don't feel like we found her yet. Can we keep going? And they said, yes, we'll keep going until we found Layla. And then it was magic.
Good. I'm glad that you found her, because she definitely is good in the show.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I had so many questions, but I have to go to the most important.
Yes.
And Layla looks African. I mean, she definitely is African American, but she also looks Latina for me, Afro Latina. So I saw an episode, a trailer in Spanish, and she sounds beautiful, and she sounds very natural as well. But my question is, how do you? I mean, you have had experiences with other productions like Daniel's Neighborhood, in the Neighborhood, Blue's Clues, and other productions. So, what do you have in mind when you produce a series like this to be inclusive? How is the process for not to feel people who see it in see the series in other countries, that they feel connected to your shows?
Yeah, I think the most important for us is that you said the word connection, of when they look into the camera, it feels like they're talking to just me. That's first and foremost what we're always looking for. And we do love that Layla is biracial, and she connects with a lot of kids in that way. Her mother is from Russia, right? Mm-hmm. And father, Dominican Republic.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And yet she's every girl, right? She just appeals to everybody. She just has that warm face, glowing eyes. We're all in this together. We're all human, and she gets that human spark to connect with every kid. So we knew that she was it for us.
Oh, that's a good news. I mean, that's something to talk about. I mean, because you know what? Not too many Latinas or African Americans are cast for this type of roles. So I'm glad I found her so interesting person for this.
She's amazing. She's a wonderful, wonderful girl.
So does Gabby ever have any special guests, like her family and friends, come to visit and shrink down into the dollhouse with her?
We hope to one day. We have the idea that the backstory is her grandparents gave her the dollhouse. So we love the idea of bringing in her family, whether it's grandparents or a little brother or a little sister or cousin.
Yeah.
But that is a fun aspect. Or maybe we can hold a sweepstakes and somebody can shrink down into the dollhouse. You two can go in. I'm sure Instagram will have something eventually of getting to shrinking yourself inside the dollhouse and picking your room and character.
Yeah, I mean, what's wonderful is that we already have this additional content that we're doing with DreamWorks, where there's more of a 2D version of Gabby. So it feels like it would be really cool to see other kids maybe in their 2D version in the dollhouse with Gabby. It would be really great. The 3D version, it takes months and months and months to create a character. There's so much detail that goes into it. But the 2D version of Gabby is definitely something that we can explore in the additional content.
Yeah, that would be
a great
fun.
idea.
Hi again. Quick question for you. The dollhouse is amazing. And Cakes, I just envision him as a little squishy that I can.
Yes, as do we, as do we.
So can we dream of the merchandising for the show?
I think DreamWorks
DreamWorks
is already on it. But what we love is that just the organic play, you know, that this show came from Jen and our heart and, you know, what we loved as kids, and that we are excited to extend the play through the dollhouse and other characters, but also through the do-it-yourself cooking and crafting. Yep. And just the playfulness. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Many parents, especially those of young children, have concerns about finding the right type of TV programming for their kids. What advice do you have for those parents, other than watch Gabbys Dollhouse, of course?
Common Sense Media. I would say every parent, if you don't know Common Sense Media, you should check it out. They rate everything based on, you know, appropriateness, educational value, just things that parent, you know, is it too scary for my kid? Is it age appropriate? I would say that is one of the best resources as a parent of finding the right programming for your kid, but also co-viewing when you can. Co-viewing is such a wonderful part, and that's kind of nice about COVID. I think we're all doing that a lot lately, because it's just brings up wonderful opportunities of teaching moments and laughing together and bonding and just talking about situations, for sure.
Hi guys. So really quickly, I was curious if there was a favorite part that you guys got to bring in from your childhood. Is it like your love for cats, or, you know, the miniatures, the dollhouse, or what was your favorite part that you got to bring in?
For me, it was the dollhouse. That was like the thing that I loved and remember so vividly as a child, playing in my dollhouse and creating these worlds and bringing my brother's car into the dollhouse and then my little glass animal collection. We both loved miniatures as kids.
Yeah, I would say for me, it was the miniatures. I loved collecting all those little Hello Kitty erasers and all the little mini pencils and all the little, you know, tchotchkes, and even making out of Play-Doh, like miniature bacon and eggs and little fruit bowls. And just love that teeny tiny. It was just so special. And now to be able to put, you know, combine that all together was just a dream come true. And I joke with Jen, you know, I have 3 boys, so I love being able to play in the dollhouse in this way. And again, not that they didn't have dollhouses when they were little, but they didn't really spark to it as much as I hoped they would. So I get to play now.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.